So I moved out at 19 years old and now I'm 29. So that's literally 10 years worth of stories I literally can tell forever. But looking back on it, I'm honestly disappointed more in kind of how the outcome turned out and like just the loss that I've experienced. Also, just like on one hand, I'm really, proud of myself for moving out at 19 because I was really fed up with my mom's stuff and like living underneath her. And also like traveling, I was traveling like 50 minutes to the community college that I was going to at the time, and just like it was stressing me out. So I moved out at 19. I was staying with my best friend at the time. I was basically couch surfing with her. Um, and I think I was dating at that time too, my, first official boyfriend, at least for like maybe a month. Um, and then very shortly after that, I remember like turning 20 years old, and I was staying, at my best friend's house. She lived in Blue Island, Illinois, which was in the suburbs, which was a lot closer to school for me. A lot further away from my boyfriend though, because he was staying in Indiana and like so far away. But anyways, and they both were older than me. I'm pretty sure my best friend was about to turn 21, and we met on his birthday, him turning 21. So yeah, actually it had been probably like maybe 2 months actually. And I just remember, I think it was at some point in September, because we moved out. I'm pretty sure our first day was October 1st when we started our lease. I just remember being sick in bed, in her bed, and just like hating my life at that moment. And like, I just was not enjoying staying with her and her family either, because her brother he smoked weed in the house, and it just like got through the entire home, and like I always smelled like weed. And I just like, I don't know, it was also not my home. So I remember being sick and then just like randomly like waking up and be like, you know what? Fuck this, we're moving out. Like, you're complaining about where you live, as in my best friend and my boyfriend at the time, like really was struggling being out in the middle of Indiana type thing, struggling with his mom and her relationship issues. And I was just like, you know what, let's do this. Like, we can do this. And it was very much an impulse decision. I was like, I think I was coming off of a cold, and just like not being happy being in her bed, not in my own bed. And I was just like, okay, we're about to do this. Like, let's move out together. And like, it literally just kickstarted so much for me, because I saw it more as like a business move and a business, I guess, like venture between the three of us to like kind of, start adulthood together and make it on our own without our families, and just kind of like, create like a community with the three of us. Even though like looking, with hindsight, looking back on it, that's just like, it doesn't make sense. Cause like I was the middleman between like my best friend and my boyfriend, and I also only knew him for like 2 months. But that's why in the last video I was like kind of mentioning all of my trauma and stuff, because I was really afraid of being alone and dealing with loneliness. And my best friend, she really like, helped fill that void, up until a certain extent, of course, because then like her and I weren't romantically involved or anything. So then I started wanting to have sex and like be romantic and like, just pursue someone. And she obviously couldn't fulfill those needs. So then once I found that with somebody, and then we were like all living together, I just like, it was a lot. It was like too much compounding on me as one person. And I kind of, there's just so many things that spiraled, because initially going into it as well, I helped get both of them cars. I had already had a car under my name that I got by myself that was very much a predatory loan. I was paying a lot of money. I think like $350 for the note, and then like another $300 for the insurance, and then I got a second car. Again, my credit must have been good. I don't know, or it wasn't, and they just again were predatory. I got a second car in my name for him, and gave like literally this stranger a leased car under my name, and then I co-signed. Again, my credit was A1. Co-signed a car for my best friend to get her own car, and the idea at the time was essentially to be, to be delivery drivers. They were driving, I think, for Amazon, and I was doing Instacart. I think it was like kind of a mix of like both of those. Like maybe like they were doing both, like Instacart if they, didn't get shifts on Amazon or something. But I wasn't old enough because you had to be 21, and I was only 20, so I had to only do Instacart, and I literally was making more than both of them. Like, I think even combined, like, I was hustling so motherfucking hard because it wasn't about living with my boyfriend to me, or respectfully, my best friend. It very much, wasn't like, oh my God, like, let's move out together. It's gonna be so fun. It was like, I'm poor. Like, I am low income, and I don't like where I'm at with my family, and I'm also in college, and I'm trying to, at that point, I think my gap year started because I owed a balance to the school, and I couldn't pay it because I decided to move out with these knuckleheads. And I don't know, they just like, I don't know what made them do it. I guess I'm a really good salesman. Because they said yes, and it just like, it was like maybe good for like a couple of months, and then it just really, after an incident, spiraled, which was that my boyfriend accidentally got the car stolen and totaled, which is a whole nother story on its own. That like, he essentially said that he dropped the keys when he was like going in to deliver to one of the homes, and there was like a group of kids that came, saw the parked car right outside of where the dropped keys were. They took it, they totaled it, and when we called the insurance, I told them, like I was working and like whatever. I told them that I was working and I lost, the car type thing, and they were like, oh, you didn't have like the business insurance to be doing like, the delivery service, well, like whatever, so we're not gonna fix the car. And we're not gonna give you money either to like, pay off the loan. So I literally like had a totaled car that I couldn't pay for because the car was supposed to pay for itself with the driver working himself. So that meant that I was about to deal with a repossession on my, not only on my credit, but like in with having this lease as well, and not being able to pay for it now, because now we're 2 incomes instead of 3, and we moved out into a high rise in Hyde Park, which is a pretty nice neighborhood. I think the rent was like $2,000 for the 3 of us, and they were not, I would say, pulling their weight, and and then we lost the car, which was one of the means of income. And it was just like, again, like, okay, Demetrius got to figure it out, because Demetrius got us into it. And I think we lasted 6 months, because it was from October to February. So maybe like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months we only lasted, because it happened in February. And I remember leaving in February. And up until that time, I was handling everything. Like, I was paying all the bills. I was like getting everything set up, like the Wi-Fi. I was helping with like the phone bills and stuff, like getting groceries, cooking. Like, I don't know where that came from. Like, I'm literally the youngest in my family with my mom and my sister. And I mean, I guess I do know where it comes from. Take care of myself, and so it just felt easy as an extension to take care of them. But the point is that, like, because of my trauma and like why I really like, gripped on tightly to both of them, even though, with him it was a significantly less amount of time compared to my best friend, because we had known each other since like sophomore year of high school, and we also survived like long distance. Like, she moved to Arizona junior and senior year, and then moved back to Chicago freshman year of college for me, and we like stayed friends that entire time, like literally talking every single day on the phone. But I think that I wasn't realizing at the time and being honest with myself that I was lonely, and that's a huge reason why I latched onto her. And I don't know why, she maybe allowed it or maybe she didn't notice it, but there was a lot of like, trauma with her and I as a friendship as well. And so when we lost the car and it was clear that we were gonna have to break the lease and like move out of that place, everything started to crumble. Because my best friend was feeling really left out a lot. She was like, "Oh, you only like care about you and your man, and like always hanging out with him and being with him." And I was like, "Well, yeah, girl. Like, I just got a boyfriend. Like, what do you mean? Like, he's literally like a better you. Like, which is not fair, and it wasn't healthy either. But that time in my life really helped me make sense of like my wounds and also my ways, because I was very militant and very totalitarian because I was the breadwinner, and like in doing everything, like they, despite being older than me, just did not have it. Just did not. They were knuckleheads. They were like always what is it, lollygagging and like just fucking around. And I was just like, y'all, like we are not family. Like please, like obviously we were in a sort of strange way, but like that wasn't at the forefront of my mind. I was like, we are young people in this big ass city of Chicago that is hard to make it, and like I'm trying to get back into college and pay that balance. I'm trying to be self-sustaining, sustainable with like self reliable, sustainable, efficient, all of the words, with taking care of myself and not relying on my family, because I don't have that to go back to. I didn't want to anyway. And they just were not ready. They were not ready for Demetrius. That was such a painful, experience and lesson in my life, because I was insecure as well. My partner, I caught him like sending nudes to other guys. He didn't really hang out with his friends, which kind of became another issue in my next relationship. I was having a really hard time with my partner having a community and having a stronger relationship with their family, and same thing with my best friend and like her people. It's like I was comparing a lot and like just feeling insecure about my own community and lack thereof of community and relationships in my life, which is so I don't even know, disappointing and frustrating, because I literally had people. I had people that I could have reached out to, but I, noticed that wound in me that I am a runner, and it's like when things are not going my way or like I'm not getting what I want from it, it's just like, okay, bye. Like I'm done. Um, and at the same time, like I'm afraid, this is me 19, not now, but at 19, like afraid to be alone. And so like now I'm like, a leech and looking for, the fix. And I thought that I found it in both of them, and like it was gonna be this like this kumbaya, like great, yes, we're like adults now experience. Mind you, I was 20 years old. Like I was 20 years old. I didn't know really what I was doing. I didn't know how to adult, and I was figuring that out at the for the first time, not only for myself but for these knuckleheads as well. And that was really pissing me off, because then me managing the money and stuff, it was like, oh well, like we don't really get to see the money, Demetrius. And I was like, okay, but like you're not doing anything. First of all, you're not even bringing in the money. Like my money is paying for most of this the bills and stuff and the cost of living, and like y'all's is literally chump change, and I don't get to see it either. Like it's not like I'm taking the money and running and going shopping and stuff and doing whatever excursions. Like I literally would plan dates for the three of us as a family. Like I remember we went to Carnival. Like y'all probably don't know what that is, but it's like a, I think, Brazilian restaurant in West Loop that I remember was like an over $100 bill for the three of us, because like everything was like a $30 plate type thing, and I planned that. I remember we also took an Uber there, took an Uber back. Like it's so strange, because like on one end of my spectrum, I'm very like considerate, thoughtful, romantic, very like, like I have the qualities of a good leader type thing. And then on the other hand, it's like totalitarian and this is a dictatorship. Like you don't get a say. Like because I have wounds. And this relationship, in this experience, moving in with my boyfriend and my best friend at the same time, is literally only the beginning. Unfortunately, because my next relationship proved to be literally the worst, the most toxic. And I really thought that I was like doing better when he came around, but I'm gonna have to get into that next time. The biggest thing with this one is that I didn't learn any of my lessons because that is not the last time that I moved in with one of my partners, not even like the second to last time. It's been a couple, but it's because I'm very forward thinking and like, just being a person, a low income background person that just wants to make it and not have to rely on anyone. So when people come around that either mirror that or like can relate to that, or just can that want the same thing as far as like being independent, I'm just like, okay, well, let's join forces. Like that's all that I think about, because again, like I come from a low income background, so I have kind of a poor person's mentality where it's like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for well, like it could be so fun, like living with your best friend and your boyfriend and like so romantic and this, that. Like at the time, at least, it was like, it's not about that to me. Like I just want to be, independent, and like we can join forces and put our money together and our heads together. The thing though with that group, they there was something, the lights were not on. Okay, the lights were not on upstairs in certain areas that it needed to be in order for it to work. So that was really frustrating. So I was having a hard time with like, not getting my own experience validated, because again, I literally had 3 cars under my name that all went into repo, and then we were breaking a lease that my name was on. Like I was being affected more than the group, because even like the Xfinity bill, the utilities, or the what do you call that? Yeah, the utilities, I'm sorry, were all under my name. And I remember too, let me be nice, because I don't know that my partner at the time was the smartest person. He Yeah, there was just signs that I was ignoring, and my experience was not getting validated. So I was having a hard time with that, and then having to like acknowledge that they were having a hard time as well, and that I was being very hard on them and my way of the highway. Although it was getting us through, because I didn't trust them to like um, to get the things done. So it was just such an odd time. And being 20 years old, like having just turned 20 and taking care of people that are older than me, it was just like, this is a lot. And we ended up breaking that lease. My best friend and I stopped talking for a while. My boyfriend and I feel like he went into a depression and we broke up shortly after that. And then I had to file bankruptcy at 20 years old because of that entire debacle. So it really was only the beginning of the lessons, y'all. My next relationship definitely taught me the most, because I definitely took the time to heal and like acknowledge that like, okay, I'm the problem in these ways. And I don't think that my experience was really validated after that for a long time, because I did end up talking to my ex. We ended up being friends like literally I think 5 years after that. He's gonna be XA at this point, so XA and I after 5 years became friends, and kind of can look back and laugh at all of that. My best friend and I started talking again as well, but not related to that. We stopped being friends like a few years ago, just kind of outgrowing each other. So yeah, with hindsight, the biggest thing is just like disappointment from the loss on from both of them, I'm sorry, because he and I sporadically talk, but like I wouldn't say that I'm like the most interested in a friendship at this point, for again sort of maybe similar reasons but non-related. So yeah, I'm more so disappointed that they didn't work out, because that was the last thing in my mind, that it would never not work out. But it kickstarted, like, me acknowledging and understanding my wounds, at least, like, getting to the root of where they come from, and then trying to heal from them. Although it took me a long time from that moment, 20, going into my 21st year, to like the last year or so, even being able to say, like, I think I'm healed. I think I'm okay now. So yes, I will get into that next time, because it's gonna be a lot.